My parents are moving in with us starting today. What a bombshell to drop all of a sudden. As I stood there in disbelief, my husband said with a sigh, "If you have a problem with it, you can leave." How far will he go to belittle me? Fine, I replied, and decided to move out. Why are you acting like you're above me? As I looked down at my husband, crumbling to his knees, I said, "Seems like the tables have turned. To be honest, I couldn't care less about you." My name is Amelie, a 30-year-old homemaker. I've been married to Alec for 5 years. We met at a party and got married after dating for about a year and a half. When we get married, I'd like you to be a homemaker, Alec had said, so I quit my job. I could have continued working a bit longer, but if Alec wanted me to be a homemaker, I wanted to fulfill that wish. So I became a homemaker, dedicating myself to housework and supporting Alec. Alec works as a salesman, appearing to be very committed to his job. Welcome home! I'm back and I'm beat. Seeing him so drained, I knew his job must be really tough. That's why I did my best to prepare nutritious meals, increasing the variety and focusing on meat-heavy dishes to help him recharge. Fried chicken today? That's perfect with a cold beer. I feel re-energized. I'm glad to hear that. Seeing Alec happily eat the food I prepared made it all worthwhile, and to make his life as comfortable as possible, I kept our home spotless every day. I believe I managed to maintain a home we both could be proud of. I thought I was doing a good job supporting Alec in every way I could. But to be honest, I had my reservations, and they started not long after we got married. It was about Alec's low salary. Despite being in sales, Alex struggled to close deals, and it seemed like his peers and even his juniors were outperforming him. In the beginning of our marriage, I thought Alec was committed and told myself that he was still young and it was only natural for him not to earn much. However, years went by and his paycheck didn't grow. We were getting by with just the two of us since we didn't have kids yet, but we were far from living comfortably. In reality, we had to cut back on groceries, and though we wanted to travel, we couldn't afford it with Alec's income. That's why around our second year of marriage, I suggested to Alec that I could work part-time. If I could earn a little money on the side, I'm sure it would give me peace of mind and make life easier. However, Alec wouldn't let me work part-time. "You promised to take care of the home, so focus on that," he said. "I'll still manage the home, but I want to work just a little during the day," I replied. To avoid hurting Alec's pride, I didn't mention our financial struggles. I tried to get his approval by saying that I wanted to feel connected to society, or build up our savings. Still, Alec refused. "You'll end up working longer hours, and housework will be neglected. I can see it coming," he said. "But aren't we living just fine on my salary?" What's he even talking about? I thought he knew we're trying to make ends meet, which is why I wanted to work. I bit my tongue to hold back a retort. In the end, Alec wouldn't let me get a job, so I started brainstorming ways to cut costs. I switched to a cheaper phone plan, canceled our Netflix, and trimmed our fixed expenses as much as possible. I even sold my car to save on insurance and other related costs. Honestly, we only need one car, and I rarely use it during weekdays. Just by doing these things, I was able to save around $200 a month. I also tried hard to cut down on our grocery bills. I substituted meat with soy products, bought things on sale and froze them, and generally got creative. I researched various recipes to keep our meals interesting, and it worked. I also stopped buying store-bought snacks, opting instead to bake cookies at home. Thanks to these efforts, I reduced our monthly food bill by almost another $200. So in total, I was saving about $400 a month, which I figured was close to what I'd make working part-time. I started putting away these savings, preparing for whatever lies ahead. A few $100 may not seem like much, but it adds up over time. And so, I did my best to save money. But then, something unexpected happened a few months into this new lifestyle. What is this? A huge package arrived, addressed to Alec. "Hey, what's this all about?" It was a day off, so I woke Alec, who was sleeping in. "What? Why are you waking me up on my day off?" "Get up. You need to see this." I dragged Alec to the living room and pointed at the package. "Oh, it's finally here?" With a smile, Alec opened the package. "Wow, this is awesome!" And what he pulled out of the box was a giant speaker. With this, you can watch movies with incredible sound and immersive experiences. Plus, it's great for simply listening to music too. Alec was visibly excited, but something was nagging at me. "Hold on, how much did this set you back?" I think it was around $500. "What? $500? I felt like I was about to faint. I had worked so hard to save that $500, and Alec had blown it in an instant. Why would you spend so much on something like this? What do you mean, something like this? I thought you'd be happy to have a more cinematic experience when we watch movies together. Don't waste money on something so expensive. Well, wasting money? Don't try to spin this like it's for my benefit because I called you out. You wanted this for yourself, didn't you? Stop making excuses. No, I'm not making excuses. The fact that he was panicking told me I hit the nail on the head. Look, I bought this because I thought we needed it. Stop complaining. You're just a housewife. I'm the breadwinner here. Alec really said that? I can't believe it. Here I am, working hard and being creative to save money, and this is the thanks I get? I was furious with Alec for not understanding my efforts at all. I can't believe you're serious. I am serious. You're taking me for granted. Show some gratitude. That's my line. He's the one who should be thankful to me. But over the years since we got married, I've been a stay-at-home wife and pretty disconnected from the workforce. Getting back into the job market looked challenging, and if I was suddenly kicked out, I'd struggle to make it on my own. So, like it or not, I had to rely on Alec's income. Even if I wanted to work part-time, Alec wouldn't give me the green light. And after our recent argument, he's become even more stubborn. You really ought to appreciate what I do for you, he'd say. Alec insisted I remain a stay-at-home wife. It seemed he relished the role of the main breadwinner and didn't want to lose that status. If I were to contribute financially, even just a little, he couldn't claim full credit for our lifestyle. I was utterly disappointed when he said such things. He needs to put himself in my shoes, tangled in his petty pride. If he wants to keep his pride high, then he should be showing real results. But Alec's career prospects seemed bleak as ever, and just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Alec threw another curveball my way. This time, it was about his parents. They adored Alec, their only son, especially my mother-in-law. You could tell she hadn't quite cut the umbilical cord just by looking. Recently, Alec has been saying that I've been acting defiant toward them. Who do you think is supporting your lifestyle, huh? Ugh. Oh my, that's terrible. It's these young women today. They lack gratitude. Clearly, you're not grateful enough for Alec, who provides for you, or for us, who gave birth and raised him. Exactly, that's it. Mom, Dad, please help in educating Emily. Sure, leave it to us. We need to teach her what respect means. She can't even spell it, can she? Ugh. That's how Alec and my in-laws belittled me. Why are they so mean-spirited? I regretted not recognizing Alec's true colors before we got married. And then, out of the blue, Alec made an unexpected announcement. Starting today, my mom and dad are moving in. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. What are you talking about? As I stood there puzzled, Alec said with a sigh, Don't you understand English? I said we're moving into this house. Got it? As in, relocating here. Why would you decide that on your own? Because I'm the boss in this house, obviously. If you have a problem, just leave. But you'd be lost without me, so good luck with that. Alec mocked me like this. When will he stop looking down on people? Fine. I decided we'd move, but Alec seemed to think I had submitted to him. Don't be rude to my parents, okay? Alec just went on with the conversation. An hour later, my in-laws arrived. Mom, Dad, good to see you. We're tired from hauling all this stuff. Let's have her carry everything then. Sounds good. Go ahead then. With a simple see you later, my in-laws dropped their heavy bags by the front door and disappeared into the living room. I started moving the bags to the designated room, one by one. In that moment, a thought crossed my mind. Why on earth did they want to move into our place? If the whole point was to live together, wouldn't it make more sense for Alec and me to move to their house? We're in a rental apartment that's just about big enough for the two of us. Squeezing 4 adults in here would be tight. On the other hand, they live in a spacious house with plenty of rooms. Even Alec could easily commute to work from there. So why would they go out of their way to move here? It really bothered me. From then on, my in-laws and Alec treated me like a servant. They piled on household chores, taking liberties and doing whatever they pleased. Is this the best meal you could prepare when we've come all this way? Get us more of the good meat we had the first day. You're useless, you know that? Here I was, getting put down by my in-laws who had moved in with us. But the truth was, I had been providing them with the best food I could afford on Alec's salary. If we spent any more, we'd be eating nothing but cereal until the next payday. I didn't want to live that way, so I tried my best to strike a balance between treating us and saving money. That's why I didn't deserve to be treated the way I was by them. While enduring their constant criticism, I started to do some digging on my own. I discovered something shocking after talking to neighbors from where my in-laws used to live. Apparently, they were addicted to gambling. They'd been spotted going to gamble almost every day. The neighbors suspected this habit had led them into debt, forcing them to sell their house. It gave me chills to hear this. But it also explained why they had to move in with us. My in-laws would often leave the house together during the day. They'd say they were going for a walk and remind me to clean the house. I had a hunch they were going to gamble. One day, after they left, I decided to follow them discreetly. Sure enough, they were gambling. Now I was certain. They were dependent on gambling, and it had forced them to sell their house and move in with us. I couldn't see my life turning out well if I stayed in this situation. I decided I needed to leave this house, job or no job. I couldn't go back to my parents' house where my brother and his wife were living, but maybe I could explain my situation and stay for a few days. That was my plan as I began to look for work. I knew I wouldn't find the job the regular way, so swallowing my pride, I reached out to a former boss of mine. She was a woman I had admired a lot back when I was working. I hadn't seen her since I got married and left the company. I felt guilty contacting her out of the blue, but I took the plunge. To my delight, she was happy to hear from me and agreed to meet at a cafe. When I saw her again, she seemed even more impressive and looked fantastic. Manager Ethelyn, it's been a while. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet. Just call me Ethelyn. No need for the manager title anymore. What? You left the company? You didn't know, huh? I'm actually running my own business now. Really? I couldn't believe it. My old boss was now a business owner. I had reached out to her, hoping she might offer me a job. Even though I was unaware of her current position, I was incredibly embarrassed. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to bother you or waste your valuable time. What are you talking about? If it were a hassle, I wouldn't be here. Why don't you come work for us? Excuse me? You have multiple qualifications, and you are always quick to understand things and take initiative. I trust you because you always gave it your all until you found your own groove. I was thrilled to hear her say that. I was so happy that I burst into tears, and Ethelyn became quite concerned. Next thing I knew, we were at my house, and Ethelyn was listening empathetically. You should leave home as soon as possible. I'll assist with the rent and provide a place for you to live on your own. Are you serious? It's a request from a dear subordinate, of course. I decided then and there to follow Ethelyn. No, CEO Ethelyn, for life. I immediately began preparations to move out, and as soon as the place was secured, I planned to move. One day when I was getting ready to go out, Alec and my in-laws shot me cold glances. What are you doing? Getting ready to go out? Where do you think you're going without us? You're not allowed to slack off on housework. Angry in-laws with their harsh words, I ignored what they said and continued with my preparations. Enough! Do you even know what will happen if you keep this up? I'll divorce you and leave you homeless. Alec confronting me like that. I looked straight into Alec's eyes and gave my response. Fine, let's get a divorce. What? Alec blinked in surprise. What did you just say? I said, let's get a divorce. My in-laws, who had been smirking, now looked uneasy. Just then the doorbell rang. Seems like they've arrived. Huh? I slipped past my in-laws and opened the front door. Standing there were some burly men. They were the movers. Please, go ahead. The movers started loading my stuff into the truck. What the hell is happening here? Alec quickly turns to me and asks, I'm moving out. You're unemployed. There's no way you could find a place. Actually, I found a job with company housing. Connections are indeed essential. I got hired by a company my old boss runs. My starting salary will be over $2,000 net worth, which is far better than your $1,600. What? How could you earn more than me? Alec was visibly shaken. Hearing this, my in-laws were shocked for different reasons. Wait, Alec only earns that little? So how will our debts be paid off? Debt? What are you talking about? Oh, well, It seems my in-laws didn't tell Alec about the debt. They have a gambling debt, apparently. Why would you? Enough, Dad! My father-in-law shuts his mouth after a scolding from my mother-in-law. But it's too late. Alec has just found out about his parents' gambling debt at the worst possible time. So let me get this straight. Emily makes more than me. I'm getting divorced, and now I have to cover my parents' gambling debts too? Alec's face turns pale. As he falls to his knees, I say, looks like the tables have turned, huh? Not that I care about you, but this is kinda sad. Just then, the movers catch my attention. All your stuff is loaded up. Thank you. I'll be coming along as well. Hold on. We never agreed to a divorce. Don't think you can leave just like that. My in-laws try to physically stop me. The movers intervene. Are you trying to use force? We'll act as witnesses, and if you try anything, we'll defend our client. There's no way my in-laws can stand against these burly movers, so they just stand there, looking lost. I get a ride in the moving truck and head to my new home. Thank you so much. You were a lifesaver. Don't mention it. Wishing you a happy new life. The hunky movers left with cheerful smiles on their faces, making my heart skip a beat. Then, through my lawyer, I filed for divorce from Alec. Alec, who was completely disheartened, agreed to the divorce without a fuss, and we were able to part ways peacefully. After that, Alec chose to cut ties with his parents and even terminated his apartment lease, disappearing as if he was running away. Well, it's probably for the best. With Alec's low income, he'd end up taking on his parents' debts if he stayed. His parents, left high and dry by their own son, were apparently caught by debt collectors. As for Alec, he even quit his job to evade his parents. He sent me an email pleading to get back together, but I ignored it. I don't know what he's up to now, but I assume he's got an even lower paying job and is living a lonely, poor life. Meanwhile, I've been pouring my heart into my work for Ethelyn, who took me in. My hard work is paying off little by little, and I'm gaining recognition from my coworkers. Living in company housing, my rent is dirt cheap, and I'm saving money like never before. From now on, I plan to keep boosting my savings while contributing even more at work.